Welcome back to Warriors.
Remind me, in this particular era of Prince of Persia, how many of these games were considered good?
The first and the third. Sands of Time and the two thrones.
He's
So
talking
two
about
games out of
Three.
I think Dwid
Well,
was
it's not-
asking about.
Jesus, that voice clips.
I think Dwid was asking about up to the point that this game was made, though.
Oh, the first one.
No, I'm referring to in general.
So
No,
are you
no.
including like all Prince of Persia games, like from all eras, including the very
this
first era?
particular era.
Oh,
Ubisoft era.
Yeah, the PS2, Xbox, GameCube. You mean?
Basically 1 and 3.
Yeah. As I mentioned, the 1 and 3. There have been some minor ports, like to the PSP of the second and third game, but those are minor stuff that no one cares about.
Yeah, 2 was the misstep, but otherwise this has been a well-received era.
The other big exception was a literal cell phone, and I don't mean mobile as in smartphone, a literal cell phone port of Warrior Within, but of the two thrones. But I will talk more about it when we'll actually get to that game, because that personal experience of mine actually gets a bit interesting.
That reminds
But
me,
it's reserved for that game.
do you want to cover the reboot before Two Fronts, since the reboot was technically made before Two Fronts?
Actually, the reboot is before the Forgotten Sands, but no, for the sake of consistency, we're gonna do Forgotten Sands HD, mind you, before the reboot.
Wait, hold on. Two Thrones and Forgotten Sands.
Two Thrones was still made in the PS2 era. The reboot was for the PS3. It was in 2008, so relatively early in the years of the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Oh yes, that's right. There was actually technically 4 games to this saga. I got the third
Exactly.
Continuity.
Yeah, I got the third mixed up with the 4th. My bad.
Once, you shouldn't be surprised, and also because the fourth, as I mentioned, has like 4 different stories altogether.
Because we
Is that
all
like
know it's a
depending on
great.
what console you have?
Because we all
Sorry.
know.
The 4 different stories.
Yeah. Although to be fair, the only one that's really strictly canonical is the HD one, so you don't get lost in that regard. All the others are just made up.
Because we all know it's a good sign when a reboot is so bad that pretty much the company goes back to only really
Not
acknowledging
just
the
that,
original.
not just that, Jova. Whatever sequel they were hoping for, they did it for the DS, as I mentioned, in that game called The Fallen King, which I'm not recording because I'm done with bad Prince of Persia games, to be honest.
So you need me to record the DS version.
Either you or anyone else. It's a DS game, so it's emulatable. But the point is, after that, the reboot got so badly received that Ubisoft decided to tuck tail and try to capitalize a bit more coincidentally with the release of a movie by making another title in the Sands
Oh my
timeline.
god! I love how those guys not only stood until you got near close to them, but even after you hit them, they then just stood there for a few seconds.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Game
bad.
is so terrible, it's causing Jova to glitch out.
Jova.exe
Has encountered a problem.
and needs to close. We're sorry for the inconvenience.
Weird. Shouldn't you be able to walk on top of that cage that you just went below?
Only some of these things are climbable, others are not. But compared to Quantum Break, hold on, Jova. Or compared to Quantum Break,
That was
the
Pedro
parkour
that
element-
growled.
Sorry, Pedro, but compared to Quantum Break, it's much more feasible and integrated well with the scenario.
Huh, so
Good
another
then.
PS2 game that does stuff better than an Xbox One game.
Yeah,
How sad is that?
and this wasn't.
It developed with everyone.
And also, this game isn't even supposed to be that much about climbing and parkour.
Wow.
It's more about the skunk. Yeah. Aren't you feeling the edge, Dreams?
I'm feeling the edge of my bed at the moment.
Also, look at that. Decapitation over decapitation.
Prince of Persia, don't lose your head.
Yeah, thanks to the sword that Kaina gave us.
And
Anyway,
don't let
time
it
for a
go
mini
to
boss
your
fight
head. Oh, great.
Oh,
against this giant thing.
how nice.
Interesting thing. supposedly, since you will have to go back and forth to this area a lot. Anyway, hold on. First, let me say the strategy. You essentially need to attack the giant on the back of his feet, and when he actually stutters down, climb on him and starts attacking his head.
So,
Anyway, the point is, a giant is supposed to spawn in this area every time you go back and forth to it, since you need to do it for a good time. But in some cases, it can actually not spawn at random like that. So interesting effect. Also, yeah, the prince is literally knocking his helmet head with his sword, chipping away every piece of metal.
yeah,
fucking
Transformers
serious.
Fall of Cybertron did that better.
Wasn't there a
Dun, dun.
Transformers Prime video game?
Yes, there is.
I remember like two,
It's
like four
actually
Cybertron
one of the
4 for some reason.
It's actually one of the better licensed adaptation games.
Well, aside of a licensed movie, I don't remember any particularly bad recent Transformers games. There was that thing, Convoy no Hazo, for the NES, that the nerd reviewed, and for some reason Japan made an actual mobile remake of that.
You know, the funny thing is, Michael, even the first video game adaptation isn't really all bad. In fact, it's more good than bad. It's not the best, but it's not bad. However, when it comes to Wii ports and whatnot for stuff like Revenge of the Fallen and, well,
There we go.
Transformers 3. Okay, for the Wii version of Transformers 3, you play the entire game in car form.
Really?
For the Wii version of Transformers Dark of the Moon,
That reminds me, Jova. Are you gonna be doing the NES game?
I have no
Da
plans
da
to.
da da da.
I have no plans to. That game looks...
Again, as I mentioned, Pedro, that's a Convoy no Hazo. That thing is horrible.
Well, there's
I
actually
know.
more than one NES Transformers game, I believe.
Yeah, I'm talking about specifically the one that the AVGN reviewed.
Yeah,
Well, he
the one
reviewed
I
both of
mentioned.
them, I believe.
No, the other one was the Commodore 64 one, I think.
Yeah.
So, you want to handle him, Pedro?
The
Since
I
you're
guess.
probably better equipped for it.
yeah, I guess I can just bust out my game genie.
Yeah,
Not blaming you.
it's one of those really bad games that deserves the usage of James Keeney.
Also, get beginning notes of the theme over and over because every time you start a level, da 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 da.
It
Da, 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 da.
reminds me of Hideline, where that game has a total of 3 different tracks, one of which
on.
you'll be hearing for the entirety of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a ripoff of the Indiana Jones theme.
Anyways, the prince said this is the room contained that leads us to the to one of the levels in order to open the door. But unfortunately, it's not. We need to move some gears in order to activate it.
What just blew
Also,
up the
this,
wall?
yeah, this actually, that well to say, this also introduces us new enemies, explosive dogs.
Wait,
Exploding dogs?
So they cling to the
Did
wall
Michael
and
take
they
over?
explode.
We were just talking about it, yeah.
So they cling to the wall and they explode.
Yeah, apparently that was to show that kind of enemy. Don't ask Jova. I don't know. This game is beyond comprehension to me at this point. Also, the music glitched out and stopped.
Maybe
Wow.
maybe these dogs were made by the same unit that made all the bosses in Metal Gear Solid 3.
I don't know.
At least they did more before they exploded.
All right, here we go. And I died.
How is that
Anyway,
supposed to work?
what to do next? To find a way to get to the other side and then to the gear. There we go. So first, a bit more jumping onto columns and then to platforms.
I love how that one mook there is just standing there waiting for us. It's like, you maybe want to try and snipe us or something? No, you're just gonna awkwardly look at us?
Yeah, this one doesn't have a ranged weapons. There we go. Just died like that. Oh my
Alright.
god, this game.
Okay.
Anyway, this pressure plate activated, as you can see the platform there. What you need to do is actually then run to the wall and climb it over. However, since I did not run out of it in time, I didn't want it to risk for it to come back. So I just waiting for it to come back naturally, reactivate the pressure plate, and then reach it. There we go. Come on. Can't you feel the excitement, Weebs? Yes. It's either the edge or the excitement.
You know, for comparison's sake, with the first Prince of Persia game, while there were a lot of quiet moments here and there, the platforming that we actually did was enough to keep us interested.
And also, at least Para was providing a bit more company. The Prince here is just utterly alone with barely anything to say. Because he's dark and brooding.
Yeah.
And it's trying to be spooky like Resident Evil, and trying to be like Resident Evil 3 with...
Even Resident Evil had more music.
Yeah. In fact, what's the name of... you know, I'm kind of tempted to do the director's cut of Resident Evil, if only to properly rip the basement tune a new one.
No, isn't the best version to play it as well?
It is? I thought the remake was...
No, I thought the remake was the director's cut. I forgot.
No! Thank God, no.
God, no.
Well, you can do like Maximilian, that he played the remake, but with the PS1 voice clips and models. Anyway, the gist with the explosive dogs is simple. When you deal the last blow to them, they get they kind of retreat for a bit and then explode. If you're still in the range of the explosion, you're gonna get damaged because fuck you.
Yeah, because fuck.
Okay, so now what?
As you have seen, Jova, we have managed to raise the central platform. What we need to do is to move to the upper, raise it even further up, essentially, just like in the first game we did.
What's Falco doing here?
What?
That for some reason that guy there looks like Falco from Star Fox.
I've seen
from
over
that angle.
It's one of the minions. He just has a punny-looking mask.
You know, I think part of the problem is, like, unlike the first Prince of Persia, there's not really a sense of, hey, notice this or anything. It's like, well, whenever you accomplish something, I mean, usually in the first Prince of Persia game, you got, like, something like a jingle or something, and then you got a close-up of a certain thing to give you a hint of how to progress after you cleared the room of enemies. But here it's just, you beat the enemies. Now find out what you need to do next. It's like, there's no real sense of progression.
Good.
It's sort of like one of the problems that Mega Man X7 has. It's like, you know those power-ups that normally gave you jingles up until X7? Yeah, now you get no sound whatsoever, which makes you feel like you didn't really accomplish anything when you get them. Never mind the fact that the power-ups themselves suck.
Well, from what I've seen, that's like the least of X7's problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Although I mean, honestly, I've watched X6 and X7 playthroughs, and I mean, at least X6 has a good soundtrack.
Oh yeah, trust me. I'll take X6 over X7 any day, because X6 at least did have fun elements here and there that, you know, were like that of Mega Man X, and, you know, again, it had salvaging points. X7, well, the boss music is nice,
Jova,
I guess.
you're gargling a bit. Can you repeat that?
Robo Jova.
Where did I start cutting off by?
Just repeat about X7.
Oh yeah, basically with X7 there was... the music's good, I guess? And other than that, though, the story is schlock, the character voice acting is schlock, the controls are terrible, and by God, okay.
3D.
Also, with Mega Man X7, they give you a Mega Man X game where the shooting automatically homes on into enemies.
And X is playable only if you manage to unlock him, and he plays it terribly.
That's right.
Oh.
Mega Man X himself is only playable like about 2/3 into the game.
It's kind of like it's still better than in Final Fantasy 13 2, where lightning is so majorly promoted, both in promotional material and on the cover of the game, but you actually get to play as her for 2 minutes and then in the DLC.
See, the difference is like, well, she wasn't like.
Well, people were sick of lightning, so you'd think less of her.
That's the problem, Dweebs. In order to compensate that, they dedicated the entire next game to her, and
Yeah.
did not have a very good job about it.
It
Oh,
was
God.
terrible. The thing is like, with Mega Man X though, the character's name is in the title. Like,
Yeah, the game is title about him.
seriously, I mean, you
So
know.
basically, it'd be like if we had a Sonic game where we had to unlock Sonic.
I know, right? Like, seriously, what the hell, Capcom?
Anyway, alright, we
Well,
raised
I heard
platform.
X8 was an improvement at least.
Oh, it was.
We should have raised the platform high enough to proceed further.
Again,
Here's the
you know, wouldn't it have
platform.
been nice to have a mini cutscene showing the platform slowly rising?
No.
There we go.
I love the sound effect it makes when you slow
Phew.
down time.
Savarudon. There we go.
What the fuck is up with that sound effect?
It's the one of time slowing and rebuilding itself.
I know, but it doesn't fit.
I mean, what was that game where it's like Superman 64 where when you collect your health, it makes a gunshot sound.
Hey, kids, don't forget in Superman 64, after you pick up something and throw it, it explodes!
Yes. Yes,
Joe,
Robert.
you're gargling again.
Try resetting one as well.
Sure.
Anyway, the point is, we should.
Yeah, well, basically, Theo, the guy who said that probably had no ambition himself. and was like, the
Okay,
only thing
how do I
people
sound
remember him
now?
for.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
joke.
that
Don't
guy.
take it personal. Come on.
Also, I'm just saying that. Try to think better of history jokes.
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think, from the way it sounds, not how you say it, but the way it sounds in general, makes it seem like that guy had no ambition, and that's like the only thing people remember him. The
That's
only
not
thing
what I
people
said.
remember him. No. I didn't say you. I meant the guy in general.
Alright, new enemy type.
Whoever first said that.
Why was that
Anyway.
enemy running away from us earlier?
Because
Because,
it baited us into a trap, an ambush. Essentially,
Yeah.
instead of fighting him alone, we fight him in three.
Yeah, it's a trap.
Okay, so
Yes.
what can he do?
Essentially, gang on us. They're like regular enemies, but have more health. That's the gist of it.
So basically, they're the only enemies that think to attack us all at once and they have more health.
No, only for this specific occasion.
Are you serious? For this one
Yes.
occasion?
Also, again with the edge, he says, "Oh, I have better things to do." Jeez.
Oh yeah, that's right. These things can actually speak.
Yeah, although again they say practically nothing that we don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
And the music's still playing, suggesting that the battle is still going, so...
But nope. Instead,
This is music.
supposedly it waves.
So...
It's allegedly music. I mean, technically it's sound, but
So...
There we go.
Are there
Kind of
more...
like with the noisy duo. This is allegedly a film score. Allegedly.
yeah,
So
don't want to
what
make
are-
any false accusations. You see.
Oh, there are the other mooks. How
Yeah.
nice.
There we go. As you can see, we're near like a water container or something, but it's not that clear.
Again.
It's gonna be more. It's gonna be more apparent once we'll go back to I think our time and try to fix it.
There's all this water here, and we have a giant enemy after us who can be defeated by water.
Well, remember, as long as we're in the past, the time of the Empress of Time, the Daka cannot find us. At
Well,
least,
yeah, I know that.
for now.
I know
Oh,
that.
look at that! It's that mysterious figure from before that, for some reason, activated the mechanism. So, whatever. Fuck
Reminds
off.
me of those Native American ghosts from Beyond Two Souls.
Oh, I get also what you mean. Well, they're also a common figure in the Indian folklore. There we go.
But,
Let's just say that David Cage interpreted them badly.
Oh, yes, he did.
David Cage interpreting something badly. Surely you jest too.
Surely you're Justin.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
He just hit the
Failure. What?
He just hit the wall and said that.
Ugh. You know,
There we
Devs, maybe you should have coded it so that he'll only say that when he attacks another person.
Again, the game code, I'm surprised this game didn't broke on his ass, because the code is so poor in a sense that it looks like everything is about to fall apart. Anyway, this is a meal, but we're not supposed to come here just yet because, as you can see, the ceiling is closed. We only can get a bonus artwork chest that we seen later on, so might as well.
Lovely.
Yeah, and pointless. Moving on.
There's actually a TV show around here called Pointless.
Really?
It's a game show. Basically, it's like it's reverse Family Fortunes. You have to a category turns up and you have to try and guess. Say for example, list of say popular video game series, and you have to guess the least popular one because getting the most amount of points is actually a bad thing.
Okay. Oh, it's an interesting concept, I guess. You need to work in reverse and to
Yeah.
think logically. Also, as you can see, that pillar also has no textures.
Also, the hit detection is questionable at times.
And again, the prince also suffers from Belmont syndrome in a sense that he gets by the traps. Also, again with the music, this fucking game.
This game, man. This game.
Weird. These things are made of sand, yet they bleed blood.
Yeah, it's inconsistent. We're supposed to be made of sand, yet they spill blood
For
like
reference,
fountains.
in the first game, they just leak sand, which again, I guess leads that this game is trying to be extra edgy.
I think so, yeah.
Even though it makes no sense for them to be bleeding. Oh, how nice.
Yeah, the close-up was totally necessary.
Totally.
Alright, what we need to do now is actually to slow time so we can pass this wheel. There we go. Okay, time. There we go.
You don't have control of when that thing's slowing down time.
No, very as you can see that half moon on our HUD. There you go.
That seems stupid. You should be allowed to just decide when you want to slow it down or not.
Well, it doesn't have a long duration, so trust me, for some puzzle, it's just barely enough. Also, gears.
Steampunk-esque?
No, it's more like like in God of War, those ancient technologies that this civilization supposedly shouldn't have.
Also, did that boat just drop from a spiderweb line?
Yes. Anyway, that's the mechanism that figure activated. So there you go. We don't need to operate anymore. I just showcased it. There we go. Oh, goody, another giant. And we have barely any health.
That's nice, game.
However, a good trick that you can perform, at least for easy mode, I don't even want to imagine how it can be in hard mode or anything, is as soon as the giant is kneeling and you jump on top of him, activate the slowdown mechanic, which allows you to score enough kills.
Very well.
So basically, parry, thrust.
All right, here we go. Come on, yeah, the prince poking him with the back of his sword.
So serious, man.
There we go. It's a
Stab.
Jesus.
He didn't even stab him properly with that. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even stab him properly. What the heck?
I have no idea
This game, man.
what the prince said.
Oh my god, he couldn't even slice through a bag.
Yeah,
A bag.
a fucking bag. Anyway, move on.
A bag.
Jesus, dude, why are you so angry?
Because the edge. Poor fuck.
You know, for comparison's sake, he lost his father for all he knew in the first game, and yet he didn't break down nearly this much.
2009, if I remember correctly.
So approximately 5 years before after this. Poor Hobbit Kingdoms could not get peace until that, at least.
Now everyone
Then
knows him as
but
the...
again, he was also the medic, and Team Fortress 2 got released in 2007. So
Oh, he's the medic of Team Fortress 2?
yes, he is. The thick German accent is there, but as soon as he starts screaming, it's pretty recognizable. Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
How are
the
you
problem
supposed
with
to
these,
deal with that? Oh, that's how?
You're hit precisely,
Well,
and trust me, it's more easier said than done.
why don't they just give you a projectile?
They kinda did with the secondary weapon. You can try to throw it and see if it lands, but sometimes it doesn't, like I showed.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid. Anyway, we need to raise this other gear. Come on. There we go.
Metal Gear.
Kinda, it's a bar.
Alright, now we just need to get through here. Should be. Wait. Oh. That should not be humanly possible, but whatever.
We just dodge rolling our way, Pedro. Check my spin dash.
And now more mooks.
Ah.
Ah.
It sounds like the mooks are just as pissed off at the game as we are.
Actually, that's the prince saying that.
Really?
Whatever,
That sounded
fine,
like
whatever,
something
he's
the
just
mooks
as-
would have said.
Yeah.
It's like every time a group of enemies comes, he's like, another one.
There we go.
Jeez.
I don't think I've ever seen a work of fiction this obsessed with trying to look more serious than its predecessors. And that's saying
Well,
something. I've
Shadow.
seen
Jack 2.
no, I'm gonna go a step further and say I think this is done worse than Jack 2. Also, Shadow the Hedgehog is nowhere close because, again, Shadow the Hedgehog, while it did have a lot of edgy moments here and there, still remembered to have plenty of the comedy nuance and whatnot that you come to expect from a Sonic
Goodbye,
game.
Dr. Eggman.
I honestly didn't know that was him killing him, honestly, but...
Although, to be fair, that I forgot which specific ending is, but the one where Shadow says, but like he's about to kill Sonic, and he says that, oh, now I can be the best hedgehog that there is.
yeah.
I am the ultimate hedgehog. This is who I am.
Great ending, mate.
But yeah, I mean, seriously though, I mean, this game, it's like, well...
It's
mean-
drying also, as you can imagine. It's just a slog to play as well. Anyway, in the next part, we'll activate these portal, go back to the present, and find another way to get to the room that where's the plate we need to activate in order to start opening the major door.
Yay.
All right.
Yeah, the room.
See
What
ya.
a story. What a funny story
See
too.
ya.
See ya.
See you then.